Good morning and welcome to year 4.
We're just, instead of old ladies complaining, we're going to have old ladies forgetting.
Someone very kindly commented on the post for day 1. Wait, is it day 3, year 3 or year 4? I'm forgetting. And I was like, wouldn't that be hilarious if Jana and I just blocked a year?
I saw that and I said nothing. I was like, and then you messaged me this morning at like 4:51 my time.
Good morning.
Good morning. And said, wait, we did hand dyed December in 2021. We just didn't call it the Woolly Winter Countdown the first year because we interviewed all these hand dyers and you came up with a great name for hand dyed December, but that was actually the first year that we did the daily vlog.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking it was the 3rd year. This is the 3rd year I've done the Shetland Hog Mini Box, and we've been doing this as part of that. And I was like, oh, no. But we started.
Oh, wait, there's more.
So, and I actually, like, in day 1, I was like, I've never had a mystery experience, but I did that year because I got the Fibre seed box. I was like, I have no memory at all.
I remember that because I kept thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, isn't that the year that you did that Stephen West thing where you just knitted garter stitch back and forth and made a triangle or rectangle thing on the bias? And
yeah. And I was like, even as I said it, I was like, wait, I did do that unicorn shawl. And I was like, well, I must have just had that and the Shetland Hog Mini Box the first year. And then I was like, but I don't, like, what's going on? And then we were off. So we could have corrected it on day 1 if we had stopped and thought about it.
I didn't realize until 4:51. Okay. And the thing is viewers need to understand you are in Connecticut. I am in Wyoming. There's a 2-hour time difference. And you can message me whenever you want. I can manage my do not disturb function on my phone. However, I was up because we are meeting very early. We're recording very early because we have things to do. You have things to do. And I have class this morning and I have things to do. And look behind me, she's like a gargoyle. Look at her. Do you see her?
She's just lurking in the darkness.
Until she's ready to get down. Then she'll, like, all of a sudden, boom, on my shoulder and jump down. She uses me to get up and down from there.
You're a step stool.
Yeah. Anyhow, good morning.
Good morning. We got shrimpies today.
Yeah.
We're up early.
They
Mine
are like
have makeup on them, so they're a little blended, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I did a good job. It is, 6 a.m. here. I did a good job to just not have bedhead and have a bra on. That's all I could manage this morning.
And I had time to get up and deal with chin hairs and put on makeup, but it's still early here. But I was up at like 6, whereas it is 6 for you now. So
yeah, I was up at 4:30.
Yeah, that's
insane. That's because but I had, you'd think an hour and a half I could do more than just bedhead and get dressed, but no, I couldn't.
There's, I'm sure it wasn't like you got up and it took you an hour and a half to just do those things. I'm sure you were doing other things that
like making coffee, starting the dishwasher and things like that. And tell us about your Instagram daily giveaway winners.
Yeah, so we have 2 winners to announce today. So my day 1 winner is dogs_cats_gardens for me, because she was the one who pointed out that we've been doing this very kindly, that we've been doing this for 4 years.
Not 3.
Not 3. And then the winner for day 2 is Martha Dean 3177. So you should have both gotten a direct message from me on Instagram to ask you to send me your address so I can get stuff out in the mail to you. So,
hooray!
Yay! Thanks, everybody. So don't forget today to go find the day 3 thing and leave a comment there to qualify to win one of the prizes for.
Nice. So it was really funny because I was reading through the comments on your Instagram and I'm like, how come Ed has so many comments and I don't? And then I'm like, oh, right. because
and even I was like, wow, the engagement's way up this year. Oh, wait, you're doing a giveaway.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Memory is a common theme for this morning.
But I love what you're wearing. Tell us about
Thank
that.
you. This is the Color Play Triangle shawl by a designer named Ashley Wemp, and I knit it in Uradale DK. And I'm going to pull it off. It's really hot in here too. Uh, so it's it's mosaic knit, and she has you do it in two different fades that go dark to light and light to dark.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm going to do one color of Uradale and then do their different blues.
That's beautiful.
And then I was like, I need a pop of color among all this blue. And so I had some of this orange color left. And so I also wanted to lengthen it because I'm taller than almost every designer. So I did 2 more repeats, and I did the orange and 1 more repeat of
That's lovely
one, like that. So,
nice.
So this is mine, and this is a finished object this is its debut.
Ooh.
I showed it before it was blocked on my page on Instagram, but this is me wearing it all blocked and
lovely. It's
ready, and you're actually the one who got me to try mosaic stitch with the Cold Pale Moon ages and ages ago.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, I think I'd done a small project with it before, but that was like my first big one. And I decided I wanted more.
That's a good segue. Thank you. I had knitted the Cold Pale Moon shawl for a knit along in 2020.
Yeah,
it was spring of 2020. I just remember that because that's what we were knitting when the pandemic started. That's why I remember that. Anyway, and then it's not a very large shawl. And like you, I'm almost 5'10", and I just don't tend to wear it. So at our retreat last fall, we had, bring finished objects, bring yarn. We did a little trade, like a swap around, and I had that there. And one of my retreat attendees was like, I really want this. What do you want to trade for it? I'm like, ooh, what do you got? So I went and looked at her table, her pile of stuff, and she had a 2022 Advent kit from A Girl in Her Wool in DK.
Oh.
And she had that there. And she was like never going to get to it, or just, it wasn't her thing really. And I'm like, ooh, I mean, are you okay? Because to me, it seemed like, I know we put hours and hours and hours into the shawl, but the difference in yarn there's a difference there in yarn.
Yeah. But you have to value your time.
I know. And she was all happy and I was all happy. And it doesn't matter if everybody's happy, right?
Yeah. Everyone's happy.
The point of that is last night I got that 2022 Advent Kit DK from A Girl in Her Wool. And I'll put a picture here. I want a blanket for me or a couch. So I got that kit out, and Will and I talked about it. I'm going to do either that habitation throw because it's easy to knit and it's fun and it's DK. So each skein's only 49 yards. And I figured I could maybe do that plus do my sock stripe and maybe work on my whips a little bit each day. We'll see.
The list is getting longer and longer.
But we were going to do either the habitation throw or the Radvent throw, which I've already did it twice before. And I know the pattern. And Will said, I think it also came with a full skein for contrast for the border.
Oh, nice.
And he said, well, given how the full color skein looks with all the minis, that was his vote. And I agree. So I have cast on the Radvent throw.
Yay!
Yeah. So we'll see. They're mottled, variegated, speckled colors. Some of the geometric pattern might be lost a little bit in the squares, but I really like how it's going to be in the end, so I'm going with it.
Nice.
So I'm happy about that.
Yay.
So my friend got the Cold Pale Moon shawl, and I got a blankie.
Perfect.
So I'm happy about that.
I finished a project. I don't have it. It's drying right now. It's drying and blocking. So it's been like 36 hours, 48 hours since we recorded because we had our Sunday off.
Yep.
I finished a project and it's blocking, and I should have it I think probably tomorrow because it's lace weight to show. So I won't talk about it.
Dry?
I live in the east. I don't live
Okay.
in the desert. So
Humid. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I could block a lace weight thing in 24 hours.
Well,
Dry.
I just blocked it last night, like 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
So,
and plus,
but
you told me once that, I mean, it really does change. It might feel dry to the touch, but it's not dry. You really do need to leave
yeah,
it set longer. Longer
yeah,
than
you
I
have
do.
to. So Elizabeth
That's
Williamson
right.
has a reel that she made where she shows the difference. And so she blocked out the points on the edge of a shawl.
Right.
And she was like, 24 hours and lifted the needle off and it spranged back.
Boing.
And 36 hours broing, 40, broing,
Yeah.
and it kept springing back. And then finally, like after a week, when she lifted it, it didn't move at all. And that's how you tell. So if you're blocking something into shape, and when you pull the needles or the wires out and it like that, let it sit longer, it's still not dry.
Right.
And that's that tendency of wool to feel dry, even though it has something like 40% of its weight in water still, something like that. It can still feel dry to the touch. So you think it's dry, but it's not actually dry yet.
And that's why it's a fantastic insulator.
Yeah.
However,
so, and then because I finished that project last night, I was able to turn to my Advent mitten.
Oh, that's darling.
Isn't that cute? So this is day 14. I've started the decreases. I need to go to DPNs, and I was like 5 minutes from the end of a Great British Baking Show, so I just stopped and called it a night. So I should finish, if I have time to knit, I might be able to finish this one off today. But like Jana, I have schoolwork to get done, so I'm momming until like 3 o'clock today, and then I have classwork to do and a major project to get started on that's due in 12 days.
I'm supposed to read an entire 400-page book and write a paper by Friday. I might download it on Audible so I can listen while I knit.
That's a very good idea.
However, the problem is when I just traditionally read, then I can make notes and put page numbers. So when I get ready to do my in-text citations, I have it all right there and I have to go back and look. However, I can listen and knit and then be like, oh, I want to write that down or make a note of that. And I can find it right there in the physical book, but still be able to knit. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm still going to sit at my kitchen table and do those things, but then I can knit while I listen and then still be able to pause, write down what I want, find the page in the physical book. I have
both done. Yeah.
I have a plan. I have to get on that.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 exams that I need to take this week as well. I mean, they're online. It's like a multiple choice, 40 questions, but it is timed. So you can, so I have 2 exams and a paper by Friday.
I did an online exam once for a certification.
Yeah.
And they were like, and it's timed. And we have special software that can tell if you're like opening other things on your computer, and it can track your eyeballs and like all this stuff to make sure you're just like
and your heart rate. We'll just hook you up
it's
to
like all this stuff. And I was like, does that really exist? Or is this just like we're gonna tell you we're doing all these things? And most people then will not do those things because...
Well, I'll tell you what, when my kids were doing online school, because my kids didn't go to traditional public school, they did Wyoming Virtual Academy. Mm-hmm. And so it was a public school, but it's offered online, but they still had certified teachers and stuff. They had a special browser. It was called Lockdown Browser. And you opened up that browser, and that's how you activated the test. So you had to take the test within that browser. And while that browser was open, you could not go access like Google or whatever.
Right. Well, couldn't you just open another browser window like Safari or...
I don't think you can. Well, if you do that, if you click off of that window, it goes away.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then you're like, well, then you'd have to start the test over again. And then they know you did that. And you see what I mean?
I see. See, mine wasn't like that. Mine was just like, we have this software and it's doing these things. And I was like, but it's just a website. Like it was just, it was in a normal browser.
That sounds like nonsense.
I was like, I think you're just saying that.
Just to freak
I also was afraid to test it. So I just did it. I mean, but I think diabolically, and I'd be behave morally.
That's where same. So this test that I'm taking though, it's totally open book. The instructor said, this is open book. You can use whatever resources you want. However, it is timed. So if you have not read the material and you end up having to go like look things up, you will run out of time. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Do I still have to look a few things up? Yeah, but I'm fast at that.
I feel like most professors, and just saying, as a master's degree student, it's all open book, like whatever. Yeah. They're like, because it's all, I don't get tested on anything. It's all project based.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. It's not an object of discussion. But for my kids in their classes, I feel like the professors are just like, I can't stop you. So why bother making it a topic of discussion? Like find the answer, because in the real world, you have to, unless you're a surgeon or a doctor and you're like needing to pull the answer up immediately.
Yeah.
Most people can look things up until it's stuck in their heads.
That's true.
Yes.
So you're right.
So I had someone ask me about this.
Oh, right. I can't knit lace. I should stop that. I can't knit lace while we're talking. So
yeah, don't knit lace.
No, tell us about your lighted thing. Because you're right. Somebody put a comment and I said, I'll make a note to remind to ask Anne. But then you saw the comment. So good on you.
Yeah. So this is
cute.
Laura Nelkin, I want to say, was the first person I saw who knit with copper wire LED lights. I actually have a box of them right here. Just coincidentally. I didn't plan to have a box here. But I ordered more of them and they came last night.
So it's knitted copper wire?
Yeah. So they look like this. They're LED lights on a copper wire. And you can get these on Amazon. They come in all different lengths. This one's battery operated. I want to say there are ones that are plug-in. Oh yeah, these are plug-in. Sorry.
It's early.
But these over here are battery operated ones that I've put in my little curio compartments. And Laura did hers just with the wire and it looks really pretty. Like a lot of people make holiday decorations out of them because, you knit it up and you can do stars and all kinds of things. I had these needles that are they have very blunt tips to them. I think they were handmade for someone. And they're like a size 14 needle, which no one designs for anymore. Right. They're just a cool pair of vintage wood needles. And so I decided to take this and hold it with a strand of mohair.
Oh.
And knit it and keep it on the needles.
That's really cool.
Display. So that's what that is. And this, let me see. So even when it's turned off, this one has a remote. It's fancy.
Oh, and
when it's turned off, it's still like a piece of knitting on the wall. Yeah. So that's what that is. And so you can go to Amazon and just search for copper wire LED lights and you'll see you have all different kind of lengths. Get the kind that is, I want to say that this was like 77 feet or something like that. Or like it was a really long one. It was one of the really long ones.
That is.
And I just knit until I couldn't knit anymore. And the thing was, so these are plug-in. So I also had to get to the other end and knit. Wait, how did I do it? No, I had the plug. I left long enough so that the plug could reach the wall. And then I cast on from there.
Right.
And just knit until I didn't have any left. And then the ends just sort of tucked in.
Yeah, so, it's wire. Sure.
Yeah. So that's how I did it.
Nice. That's cool. So
I feel like we had more questions from people. Cracklin' Oat Brand. Someone said, I can't wait for Cracklin' Oat Brand to make an appearance.
You have it back there. I saw it the other day.
Right there.
But we don't open our boxes of Cracklin' Oat Brand until Christmas. But I do remember last year we talked about it on day one. But we will not eat it until Christmas.
Cracklin' Oat Brand is the king of cereals.
And we talked about this, and it's a thing now because it started to be a thing when we first started podcasting because you only allow yourself to have it once a year. At
Yeah, I
Christmas?
have it at Christmas time because in theory I am very low carb, low sugar diet.
Yeah.
But Christmas is one of the days when I give myself permission to just eat what I want to eat. And so Cracklin' Oat Bran comes out. So and it has become a thing, and people have been telling me they have their box already, which I think is
No.
adorable. Way to be on board, guys.
Thank
We
you.
will
If you know, you
all,
know. And I'm glad you know.
you know.
And then
We
we
will
told you.
enjoy our bowl together on Christmas morning as we have our thing. So go find yourself a box so you can join in.
Yes. Because I remember during the pandemic, we had a rough time finding Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Yeah, it wasn't there were, and yeah, there was like a legit shortage of Cracklin' Oat Bran for some reason.
I didn't have mine that first year that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a box on Christmas morning because I'm like, I live in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. We couldn't find any.
Yeah.
But
But
I do have mine. My husband, actually, when he remembered that we were starting this, he brought me a box. Wasn't that thoughtful? I didn't even
that's
have to ask
lovely.
him. He knows about it, the Cracklin' Oat Bran. So it's
I sent
unopened, sitting there.
I sent Adam a message while he was at the grocery store the other day, and I was like, I need a box of Cracklin' Oat Bran for Instagram purposes.
That's funny.
He
But
didn't
he came
question it.
through. He came through.
He came through.
Our spouses understand.
Supportive.
That's good.
Supportive.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we
So
start opening?
you should. Yes, you
Okay.
open yours and then I have to talk about
Yeah.
mine. But go ahead and do
Okay.
yours first. Your first one first.
Day 3.
Day 3. Good job on the sticker.
Yep, one of my rose stickers. This is Ace. Another natural shade
Nice.
from Uradale. So you can see it's that same
Ooh.
canny brown, but a little bit more brown
Nice.
in the blend than the white. So those are our 3 colors to start off with for Uradale.
Okay. Lovely.
Gotta love Uradale. I'm going to set them down now.
Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention, and I had forgotten it entirely, actually, is on the Woolens and Nosh Advent Kit. Now, Michelle mentioned this when we podcasted together last spring when she was opening up her pre-orders. She did mention this on the podcast. She explained and talked about it. However, I forgot about it until Lori Massey, who's lovely, and she's one of my knitter patrons, reminded me by saying, oh, my day 1 stripe doesn't match yours. And then I went, oh, that's right. So because Michelle does so many Advent kits, for the first couple of years, they were trying to make all the colors match, all the cakes in each kit. And it was just overwhelming to have to, they have this giant wheel of wonder, basically, that they pull off of, and they wind the 50-gram cakes that go inside the bags for the kits. So they painstakingly made sure that everything matched for every kit. But a way to streamline their process and to be able to offer more kits for sale was to just pull off the 50 grams, make sure that those 2 cakes that go in one bag, make sure those match, and then just do it again. So not everybody's colors start at the same point, which at the time I was like, well, that's going to be so fun to see everybody's different starting points. So we've had comments. So Lori commented, yeah, mine started with like a purple, not a pink.
Right.
And then one of my other patrons was like, oh yeah, mine started with orange.
Yeah, and someone had green. And
yeah, hers now looks like, with that dark neutral color, hers looks like a little Halloween thing going on at the very beginning. So it's fun. So tag me on Instagram and be sure to tag Michelle. Tag Michelle too at Woolens and Nosh, because that's fun. It's
I just absolutely love that idea because it makes it easier for Michelle, and it cuts down on waste because like in the past she had to be able to wind off 50-gram cake, so she had to then like all of that in between yarn to get back to the start would have become waste.
Maybe depending on how her striping sequence goes, but potentially.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why it would have been a problem if everyone had to start with the same color at the same point. Then, okay, so maybe like 4 feet here, 3 feet there, or,
right.
whatever.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that she was able to just do that. Then it's a surprise, like Lori was saying. She gets to see what my stripe is, but then also hers. It's like 2 surprises every day.
Yeah. And you all end up with the same colors.
Yeah.
So you could still see it and be like, oh, that's the 2024 advent.
It's just starting in a different
order.
place.
I
The
think that's
sequence
so
is
fun.
the same. The sequence of everyone's colors is the
Right.
same. It's just a different starting point. So that's neat, I think.
I love that.
So
okay, let's see.
I forgot to clarify that. So now I'm revealing day 2 stripe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. And then I'm going to pull for day 3. Okay. So I'm back to the dark, back to the neutral. Woo! Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's just going to be brighter yet.
That's so funny to me that we have such similar colors in my silly sheep one as what you're like.
We had no way of knowing that. Yeah, we had no way. Yeah, but good. Oh, you remember we used to do this and then there would be fireworks? It didn't work.
Didn't work.
Oh, there's our thumbnail.
Our hands look so huge. Sometimes I take pictures like for social media and I have my hands out here and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at my hands. And then I have to
I know we're not small people, Anne. We're both
big people.
We are. And we're both like almost 5'10" or at least 5'10". And I mean, I think my feet are bigger than yours, but we both have large hands.
I'm going to tell you again, Jana, we have the same size feet. I feel like we say this every year. But when you have a size 12 foot, you're not used to anyone else having that.
That's true. That's true.
So you're just like, my feet are bigger than yours, you know?
That's true. And that's one reason Anne doesn't knit socks.
Yeah. Oh, I have to tell, okay, I know I have to open the Silly Sheep Company, Fibre Company one still, but the cutest thing happened yesterday. So when I was in Shetland in the fall, I went to the Woolly Wyvern studio and she has a sock machine from like the 1920s. And she does workshops where you can like do your own pair of socks. And I've been wanting to do it for ages. And so I finally like had time to go out and do it. And it was so fun. But my socks ended up just a little too big for me. And like they just weren't super comfortable for me to wear because they were just a little bit too big. So I was already planning to give them to my dad because he has even bigger feet than I do. And my stepmother messaged while I was doing Wovember and was like, hey, I've been learning about wool from you. And your dad is like always saying his feet are cold. Could you make him some wool socks?
Oh.
And I was like, first of all, no, because I hate knitting socks. But second of all, I already have a pair made that are going to fit him perfect that I will bring. So we got together for Thanksgiving and I brought the socks. Now, my father has dementia. So when I talk to my dad, we have the same conversation constantly for like 5 minutes, like 4 or 5 questions. I love my dad. Like we just have that's how the conversation is. We just have the conversation over and over. So I pulled out the socks and I was like, Dad, I made these socks for you. You know, I hope you enjoy them. And he was like, so excited. Oh, I'm going to put these in my pocket. Thank you so much. And he was like, so happy. He got home later and my stepmother was not around when this happened. So he got home later and pulled these socks out of his pocket. And my stepmother saw them and was like, where did you get those socks? And he was like, I don't know.
Right.
And she was like, how did you take someone's socks? Like, where did socks come from? And it was like this big, long thing. And she totally forgotten that I'd said I was bringing the socks.
So she's forgetful and he has dementia. So it just goes round.
So then yesterday I was up to have breakfast with them and I was like, oh, by the way, I gave Dad the socks on Thursday. And she was like, that's where they came from.
Right? I know.
Oh, this is great.
Now he gets to have a surprise again.
I know. It's like they're the gifts that keep on giving.
Right. I know we are of the generation when caring for elders that, I mean, it's just part of it, it's just part of,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yesterday at breakfast, when I first got there, I went over and talked to him, and he was like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And it was like he knew he hadn't seen me since Thursday, and we were chatting and getting caught up. But the table was full, so I was down sitting at the other end of the table.
Right.
And then my brother and his girlfriend left, so I went and sat across from him again after. And then he was surprised to see me because he thought we were visiting from the Philippines. So then he went back like 7 years at that point. And I had to explain, no, I've been living in Connecticut for 6 years now. And well, why don't we go visit? I've never been there. Yep, you've been down multiple times. Yep, and then we just keep, we just talk. And
but he knows who you are, though.
he does. He still knows who everybody is, and that's
good.
been good for everybody. So I think that's probably when it's going to get to be hard.
Yeah.
But he still recognizes everyone, and he's happy to chat. And he does most of the time. He understands he's forgetful.
Yeah.
Every like 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so, there's a moment where the frustration comes out of it. It's all this time of life, helping people through things. Yeah. Oh, I have a second yarn. Sorry.
Yay!
Hey, I'm talking a lot this episode, Jana. Okay. We're at Silly Sheep. Fibre.
So see if you have another shade of fuchsia. Oh.
It's a fun fade. So this one's blossom dyed on a white base. So here's the 3 together.
Ooh. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how I'm going to use these.
I was going to ask if you have a project in mind yet. Or do you, you might kind of want to see where it goes, but wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm really falling in love with are those Advent like cardigans and sweaters where it's just a stripe with a neutral between. Yeah. And I might end up doing that with Becky's yarn. I don't know the colors, but I know her yarn really well, and I suspect that would work well with what's coming. But I don't know and then I also thought like just the unicorn scarf from West Knits again. I mean, that was one that just
there are a ton of patterns for Advent kits and mini skeins. How many yards is each one of those? You probably told me in the first episode.
Well, they're all about 90 meters, she says.
Okay.
So like 92 yards ish.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. Okay.
So but my concern with like the cardigan is that like they look so cute, but maybe they won't work in my size. Like maybe I won't have enough yarn.
Well, let me tell you this. I just saw a pattern from Ambah O'Brien, and she's an Australian designer. And I actually did my very first Advent podcast with her in December 2020. And then she wasn't available the following year. And that's why I went, and do you want to do this with me? And you're like, yay, that's how this started. But anyway, Ambah has a pattern where you knit, she has 2, one's a cardigan and one's a pullover, and you knit it from side to side. So you start at the sleeve and then come across, which I really like. And Ambah is usually really size inclusive because she is very tall. She's not a small person either. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure how tall she is, but her patterns are usually very size inclusive and have a broad range. I'll put the link down below to the 2 patterns I'm thinking of, and people can, you could see.
I'll look for it.
Yeah. So, and she also has a whole bunch of shawls because she does an Advent. She knits new patterns for, I think she calls it Festivus or festive something. But I know, right? Festive.
I just
Addams Family, dude. Anyway, Ambah has a bundle on Ravelry with a whole bunch of her Advent patterns that are designed specifically for minis. Some of them are sweaters, some of them are shawls. She has shawls that go side to side, shawls that go, the crescent shape, the triangles. She is a prolific designer. So
I've done so many shawls. I really want to focus more on sweaters for a
Yeah.
while, which is
Yeah.
why I was thinking like a stripy cardigan or a stripy sweater. But like because my concern is that like, yeah, sure, it looks great. Like it looks great and it's totally possible on a women's medium. But if I were to do a women's extra large, do I still get the same amount of stripe out of this much yarn? You know, like that's my concern.
Right.
And
If
I
it's
guess
a
if I
good
just
fade,
looked at some
if,
patterns.
if it's a really good fade, though, if it's a good gradual fade, it should be lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you can look through, that's the great thing about Ravelry is you can search the projects and see what it looks like on various size people.
Right. Yeah. So I'll do some poking around. I'm not going to be able to cast that on
Tomorrow.
Yeah, because really day 5 is when we start knitting the
Yeah.
Shetland Mini Box project, and I still have to, like I said, I have this big school project.
Yeah. But yeah.
So I got a couple weeks to get it figured
Anyway,
out.
something to think about.
Something to think about.
Yes.
How was your, time away, day off? I know no one it looks like we're continuous, but we did have a day off in there.
Well, you did. I still edited because I didn't have time Saturday to edit both. So
yeah.
And then, like I said, we helped we did the elderly person family
help
out of
out.
the apartment.
Yeah.
So yeah, no day off. So that's okay. It was fine. We got a lot done. Hopefully we're done with that for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. And then my kids went back to college, went back to campus. And it's a bittersweet thing because now that I've been an empty nester for a couple of years, I kind of like having the house to myself during the day, but I also really, really love having them here.
I know.
And then I'm like, when they leave.
That's my momming today is getting my youngest back to campus. And I'm like, I don't want to. But yeah,
Transitions are hard. Transitions are hard,
Yeah.
But Will and I said again, we have created some really good humans, and I'm glad for them to go out in the world, But I miss
as long as they keep coming back, right? That's the
you gotta fly back to the nest once in a while.
That's right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. But yeah, we have things to do. I have school. I have 2 classes today. You have to do mom things.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Let's
I
go
guess
do that thing.
Yeah.
So guys, don't forget to go by I Thought I Knew How on Instagram and leave a comment.
I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds great. I will see you tomorrow. Have an excellent day.